Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In case you're new here, my name is Laura and I'm a PhD student of comparative literature and I review classics on this channel. And today I want to talk about Northanger Abbey, this novel by Jane Austen. It was published in 1818 and it is seen by critics often as a Gothic satire or Gothic parody, making fun of the Gothic novels which emerged in that time, because Gothic novels were very popular. And I want to delve into that question today a little bit and ask whether I think that Northanger Abbey can be seen as a Gothic satire and why or why not I do think so. First, I quickly want to summarize the story without spoiling you the ending. So it's about Catherine Morland, and she is introduced as a young girl of 17 years who is not the typical heroine, but she is in training to become a heroine because she reads all the novels of the heroines and heroes, and this is like what Jane Austen describes as her training for the becoming a heroine herself in a way. And she lives a rather dull life in England with her family. She's got, I think, 9 sisters and brothers, and she actually wants to escape this life. There's this wonderful quote I love. I think you probably have heard it before. It says, "If adventures will not befall a young lady in her own village, she must seek them abroad." And when she thinks that, her neighbor, Mrs. Allen, invites Catherine to go together to Bath for 6 weeks and to just enjoy their time there, which Catherine is very happy about. So they go together to Bath and they attend balls and parties and spend a lot of time at the so-called pump room, where people go for drinks and enjoyment. And after a time they even make friends, because Mrs. Allen meets an old classmate, I think, Mrs. Thorpe, and Mrs. Thorpe has also some children, and her daughter Isabella becomes a friend of Catherine, and Isabella is a huge fan of all the Gothic novels, same as Catherine actually. She has a huge collection, and both of them are fans of Anne Radcliffe, especially of the novel The Mysteries of Udolpho, which Catherine reads at the moment. So they even plan what they are going to read together after they finished after she finishes reading The Mysteries of Udolpho. And it's really fun to read about how excited they are about all these Gothic novels. And the first time when you feel like Jane Austen is really making fun of the genre in a way, and also like not so much the genre really, but how people react to it, is I think when she describes how excited they are about all of that. And then also there's a very funny scene in which Catherine talks to the brother of Isabella, John Thorpe, who is actually has a thing for Catherine. He's interested in her, and he is also very snobbish, I think, and he is rather selfish and convinced of himself. And then they talk about the Gothic novels, and he says, "Oh, I'm only reading novels by Anne Radcliffe," and she says, "Yeah, I'm reading The Mysteries of Udolpho at the moment," and he doesn't get that this is actually a novel by Anne Radcliffe. So Catherine can make fun of him at that moment. And so there's this fascination with Gothic novels all the time. And there's a lot of other things going on. Catherine also meets Henry Tilney, the man she later falls in love with, and her sister Eleanor Tilney, she's also becoming a close friend of hers, and they go all to these nice outings and balls and just enjoy their time. But it also becomes a little dull. And then one day, General Tilney, the father of Henry and Eleanor Tilney, invites Catherine to stay with them at Northanger Abbey, which is their home. And Catherine cannot believe how lucky she is. She imagines the abbey to be absolutely mysterious and everything she ever was looking for in such a place. There's one nice quote I want to read to you. And yet this was to happen, with all the chances against her of house, hall, place, park, court and cottage. Northanger Abbey turned up an abbey, and she was to be its inhabitant. Its long, damp passages, its narrow cells and ruined chapel were to be within her daily reach, and she could not entirely subdue in the hope of some traditional legends, some awful memorials of an endured and ill-fated nun. And I think this shows quite well how fascinated Catherine is by going to that place, and she has a very vivid imagination, so she expects all these like narrow passages and secret pathways and hidden chambers, hidden doors, maybe even some hidden people. And so when she arrives at Northanger Abbey, she goes there with Henry Tilney, and he even tells her about all the horrors that are seeking out this abbey, and everything weird going on there that she has to prepare for. And he asks her, are you ready? And she's yes, and he's really making fun of her fascination for that, and she is not really sure whether he makes fun of her or whether he is really earnest when he's saying that. And then she explores the abbey together with the General Tilney and also with Eleanor and with Henry, and she has such a vivid imagination and so many ideas about what's going on there that she's really making things up in her mind. I won't go into detail because if you want to read it, it's a lot more fun to read it yourself. There's a lot of references to Gothic novels, and I just want to quickly summarize some of the Gothic elements that I found to be in the novel. So for once, there's this like woman in distress that you have when Catherine actually is at the abbey, and she imagines so many things going on, and she's, for example, she's convinced there's other people hidden somewhere in the abbey, and there's places she hasn't seen yet, and rooms she has to go to discover the mysteries. And this is something very typical in Gothic novels. And then you also have like the setting at the abbey, because many of the Gothic novels were set at abbeys, and there's often like, for example, monks that were turned by the devil into bad people doing hideous things and also turning mad often. Then you also have the atmosphere, because there's also this gloom and mystery and the secrets that especially Catherine thinks are so alive at the abbey. Most of that, like these elements, are actually coming alive only in the second part of the novel, so it's definitely worth reading it completely. I think these are like the most important Gothic elements actually. But to sum it up, I think actually it's not a Gothic story itself, but rather shows the way that people treat the Gothic novels, or treated them at that time around 1800, when Gothic novels emerged and they became so popular. Like as I told you before, beginning with the Castle of Otranto by Horace Walpole in the late 18th century, and then all the novels by Matthew Lewis and Anne Radcliffe, for example. You had so many different novels, especially in England, and they were so popular. So Jane Austen wrote in that time as well, but she didn't write the Gothic novels herself, and I wouldn't call Northanger Abbey a Gothic novel, but I'm not sure whether it's really a parody on the genre, but rather a parody on the people reading the novels, in a way, if you could say that. Because I think she doesn't really make fun of all the elements, she just makes fun of everything that is around that, so that people connect with it And I think one of the most striking things showing that it's not really a parody on a Gothic novel is that there's not really a mystery, and most of the Gothic novels would be structured around a mystery, a big question, something hidden, some secret. But here you don't have that mystery. So I think, like, as the main element of a Gothic novel is missing, I think it shows that it's more of a critique of society and the way people are so investigated in the Gothic novels that they cannot really make a difference between fiction and fact, reality and fantasy. And this is especially shown by the character of Catherine Morland herself. But the way that Austen uses all these elements and leads the reader through the story and through the adventures that the not so heroic heroine Catherine Morland experiences is very humorous and also cheerful, and it's really worth a read. I really think having an annotated version would make sense if you want to get all the references. I haven't read Anne Radcliffe's novels myself yet, but I'm planning to do that soon. Maybe I will have an enhanced reading experience after that, because I can find more references, especially to the Mysteries of Udolpho, after I read that. But I can completely recommend the novel. Tell me what you think about it if you have read it yourself. It's actually my very, very favorite novel by Jane Austen I have read yet. I'm planning to read Persuasion. I've got it here with me in a also very beautiful edition. I hope you could see that. I also enjoyed my edition of Northanger Abbey. It's by the Vintage Austen. So that's also a nice one. So to sum things up, it's a novel that's really worth reading. I wouldn't say it's a Gothic parody in itself, but rather a parody on the way that people read those Gothic novels. And the way Jane Austen depicts that is a very humorous and clever, witty way. That's just Jane Austen's style. It's completely everything you love about, or you could love about Jane Austen, you will find that in this novel. It's rather short. I think it's, in my edition, it was 250 pages. I read it within a week, and I only read like 2 or 3 evenings, I think. So it's manageable, and it's perfect for a winter night. Just go read it and enjoy yourself while reading it. Hilarious sometimes, and just also very atmospheric and lovely. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in a next video. I will not tell you yet what it is going to be about, but I hope you will enjoy it. If you enjoyed the video, please hit a like and subscribe to my channel. If you don't want to miss another video, also hit the little bell, and I would appreciate to see you again on here. Bye bye and have a nice day.